People are moving back home, folks. They are moving back home. They can't afford to do anything. In my last videos, I discussed that people can't even afford fast food. Fast food is not affordable anymore. Like, youth unemployment is high. People can't afford, groceries, rent. Like, this is a problem. We need our young people to work. Like, I don't this is a huge economic indicator. People say, "Well, does it really matter that young people don't work? They're living with their parents. Do they really need to be?" Yes. Yes, youth unemployment, if they are not working, that is an economic indicator that we are doing really bad. There are millions and millions and millions of young people out there. If they are spending, if they are paying taxes, they are contributing to the economy. They are helping grow the economy. They need to be working, right? This is that youth unemployment is a crisis, right? We do not want them being in debt. We do not want them not being able to spend, right? Like this shows that the crisis that we're in, and I've mentioned the others: housing, rent, right? Groceries, fast food, like youth unemployment, right? Like let's take a look at this. Nearly 1 out of 2 adults, 1 out of 2 young adults is living at home with their parents. The highest rate since the Great Depression. Since the Great Depression. And we are not in a depression right now, folks. This is just like normal economic activity right now, and youth unemployment is the highest since the Great Depression. Like, that's why they're all moving back home. And there is nothing wrong with living with your parents, for example, out of college to save for a house, right? But they're starting to realize now that even doing that is just unaffordable to even save for a house, because they're not getting paid enough. Wages are too low. Wages are not keeping up with inflation. We're not getting paid enough. It rises a little bit here and there from this year to that year, but generally it's stagnant. We don't get paid enough. And our politicians don't do anything. They don't care. Can anyone name any policy whatsoever like that politicians have specifically targeted any of these issues I've mentioned since I've been alive? Folks, I'm not old, but I'm not young either. And I can't remember any policies. What can anyone show me a policy that has been passed that has addressed specifically youth unemployment? What about specifically groceries? What about rent? What about housing? What about anything when it comes to cost of living? These politicians come in to enrich themselves. They don't care about us at all, right? They come in to enrich themselves because I don't know of any policies that are addressing these issues. And we need young people to work. And not just that, for mental health, young people need to be working to have money to feel like they are moving towards a goal, right? Just think of the despair of young people having to move back into their parents' house after college. They don't want to do that. They want to have their own apartment. They want to meet a nice girl or guy. They want to have friends and be able to go out. This contributes not only to stress, to depression, mental health issues, which then has cascading effects as they grow older, which affect the country. We want youth to have jobs. We want them to be able to work. We want them to live fruitful, fulfilling lives, right? And like I said, this affects the economy. If they can't contribute to the economy, if they can't pay taxes, we are not collecting that revenue. The Treasury is not collecting that revenue. They are not stimulating the economy. And young people, they haven't learned to be good with their money yet, right? So they spend all their money, and that stimulates the economy, right? They don't know how to manage their finances, which in itself is an issue. We should be teaching finances in class. I'm gonna do a video about that. We should be teaching financial literacy in school. You shouldn't have to wait until college and then pick finance as your major to learn about money. This is why so many Americans are in debt. I'm going to get in, maybe we'll do another video on this, but we need to be teaching our young people about finances. But as it is right now, they don't know anything about finances, so they spend their money, and that stimulates the economy. So we want them to work, right? Look at this. 50% of young adults, yeah, one out of two. 50% of young adults are living with their parents, an all-time high per Morgan Stanley. This is 2023, but still relevant. Today, it's even worse, right? Like 50%. This is not good. This is not good. And it's, look at this one. Astonishing number. 40% of young people aged 18 to 34. 34, guys. People in their 30s are moving back with their parents. We need to, it says here, we need to elect young people to office that know the housing crisis our generation is facing. Yes. Yes. We need to get these geriatric 90-year-olds out of Congress. 90% of the people in Congress are old as fuck. They became politicians when the air conditioner didn't exist. Get them out. We need young people. Just remember when you were young, you were idealistic. Most young people really want to improve the country. They're more active than us. When we get old to our age, we just want to work and provide for our families. We're not really that involved with making the country better. You know, we watch news on TV and then we bitch to our friends about how this could be better and that could be better, but we don't get involved. And young people do because they're idealistic. When you're young, you want to make the world better most of the time. Like you want to be involved. So we want these young people to run for office. We need young people in office, people who want to make the country better, not 90-year-old, not these old people that just want to enrich themselves. Because as you get older, you're less idealistic and more about making money. And so these people are in office and all they care about is enriching themselves. We need young people to be in it, in government, right? Not too young, obviously, but we need younger people in there. Not these old geriatric politicians who care nothing about us, right? Here we go. What would you move back with your parents to save for a house or a down payment? Yes, of course. But even that we're getting to a point where even that's not like attainable to save for a house, even if you're living with your parents, because wages are just too low. Wages are low. Houses are too expensive. Like if you're getting paid $15 an hour, how are you going to save for a house that on average costs 400 grand now? You know, like 400 or 500 grand to get a decent sized house for you and your potential future family or your current family. You know what I mean? I mean, this is insane, right? This is the highest since the Great Depression. Let's look at this. Youth unemployment. Youth unemployment. Look at this. Youth unemployment crisis in the U.S. is getting worse. This is August 10th. The U.S. unemployment rate for graduates aged 20 to 24 has averaged 8.1%. 8.1%. That is astronomically high for youth. We do not want them to be an 8.1% unemployment rate for young people. That means they are not contributing to the economy. 8.1% of young people not working is not good for the U.S. economy. It's not good for the rest of us. Believe it or not, we need young people to work. The U.S. unemployment rate for graduates aged 20 to 24 is 8.1% over the last 3 months. The rate for youth 16 to 24 hit 10%. 16 to 24 hit 10%. We want 16 to 24-year-olds to work. That's even younger than 18 to 34, right? But we want those kids to work too, those young people to work. That's more money in stimulating the economy, right? Look at this. Youth unemployment is on pace to reach a 10-year high with over 15% of 16 to 24-year-olds unemployed. This is a generational crisis. And if you compound this all adds up. If you compound this with unaffordability in groceries, unaffordability when it comes to rent, unaffordability when it comes to housing, you can't even buy fast food anymore. As I mentioned, I did a video on fast food. If the cheapest thing, fast food, is no longer the cheapest thing, if it's not even cheap, what can we afford as lower middle class and poor? What can we afford? Nothing. If we can't even afford fast food, if 18 to 34-year-olds are moving back in with their parents. If 18 to 34-year-olds cannot find a decent paying job, they get out of college and they're working at Walmart. This all compounds. This is all a compound cascading effect. And this is not an indictment on Trump or Republicans. This is not an indictment on Democrats, on Biden, whoever it is. This is all of them in the last, since I've been born, in the last 30 years. They have been completely useless, only working to enrich themselves. That's it, folks. To enrich themselves. That's all they care about, because this is insane. As I mentioned, I don't know of a single policy that directly like goes after youth unemployment. It does not exist, folks. It does not exist. Prove me wrong. Show me in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know of any. I don't know of any. But like, this is a complete failure of both the Democratic and Republican Party, who only care about enriching themselves. Get the geriatrics out, put some young people in there. Let's re-stimulate our government. Let's get them working for the people again, because this is a crisis with these young people, okay? The new grad gap. First time in history, the unemployment rate for young college grads is higher than the general population. People are getting out of college and they can't find a job. And if they do find a job, it's garbage, because as I mentioned, people talk about, oh, the unemployment rate is so low. That means nothing. If the unemployment rate is low, everyone's working, right? But what are the quality of the jobs? That's what they don't talk about. If 100% of people are working, but 90% of the jobs pay $10 an hour, then what are we talking about? Who cares if everyone's working? No one can afford to live a decent life. So it doesn't matter that everyone's working. It matters about the quality of jobs. What are the quality of jobs? Are they paying a living wage? Can I go out and have a fruitful life? I slave away 8 hours a day in a 9 to 5. After that is over, can I go out and live a fruitful life with my family and friends? And right now, it's just no. The jobs just don't pay. The majority of people in the United States can't live that fruitful life because we don't make enough money. I mean, and youth can't even find good jobs or jobs at all. They're all moving back in with their parents. Even 18, a lot of people in their 30s, as I showed you here, 30-year-olds moving back in with their parents because they can't afford anything. That's where we're at, folks. I hope all you are doing well. I hope your kids live a fruitful, fulfilling life and can find good work out of college, not straddled with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. But our system is broken. Our system is broken. But I hope your family is not. And I hope your family is living a fruitful life and your kids are doing well, because this is insane, folks.